The Patriot by Robert Browning, 1812 to 1889. It was roses, roses all the way, with myrtle mixed in my path like mad. The house roofs seemed to heave and sway, the church spires flamed, such flags they had a year ago on this very day. The air broke into a mist with bells, the old walls rocked with crowds and cries. Had I said, "Good folks, mere noise repels," but give me your sun from yonder skies, they had answered. And afterwards, what else? Alack, it was I who leapt at the sun, to give it my loving friends to keep. Nought man could do have I left undone, and you see my harvest, what I reap, this very day, now a year is run. There's nobody on the housetops now, just a palsied few at the windows set, for the best of the sight is all allow at the Shambles Gate, or better yet, by the very scaffold's foot I trow. I go in the rain, and more than needs, a rope cuts both my wrists behind, and I think by the feel my forehead bleeds, for they fling, whoever has a mind, stones at me for my year's misdeeds. Thus I entered and thus I go, in such triumph people have dropped down dead. Paid by the world, what dost thou owe me? God might question. Now instead, 'tis God shall repay. I am safer so. Okay, this is a poem by Robert Browning. Let's see, Robert Browning was a British poet. He was born in Camberwell in South London. He's a Victorian poet. He's a bit obscure from time to time. And yes, he married Elizabeth Barrett, and they moved to Italy. He tends to write epic poems, long epic poems, and that's his style. I think he's probably most famous for the Pied Piper of Hamelin. So what's this poem about? Okay, this poem is about patriotism. This poem is about a patriot who everyone adores, who everyone thinks he's a fantastic guy. And a year later, they're executing him. So this is talking about the fickleness of public opinion. How at one moment everybody is celebrating him, and then a year later he's a beast. He's to be executed. Everyone turns on him, and they execute him, and there's no one there even watching his death. So let's see. It was roses, roses all the way, with myrtle mixed in my path like mad. Okay, so roses, roses all the way. Everything was roses, everything was brilliant. And there was myrtle mixed in my path. Now, myrtle is a symbol of wealth and prosperity. It brings positivism. So they put myrtle in his path as well. The house roofs seem to heave and sway. The roofs of the houses are heaving with people. The church spires flamed. The spires burned. Such flags they had. So there were so many flags on the church spires that it looked like they were burning. A year ago on this very day. So a year ago today, everyone's happy. Everyone thinks this guy is the hero. He's the best. He's the patriot. He's wonderful. He's absolutely fantastic. And the people have come out to see him. Everybody wants to see him. Also, look, flame such flags. Yeah, and that a nice bit of alliteration. Myrtle mixed as well. The air broke into a mist with bells. So the bells were playing, everybody was celebrating. I like this, the air broke into a mist with bells. A mist of sound. The old walls rocked with crowds and cries. So the walls of the town, the streets were full of crowds of people and cries. Had I said good folk, mere noise repels. So if I'd said, I don't really like noise, but give me your sun from yonder skies, they had answered. So, and the people had said to me, get the sun, go and get the sun. And afterwards, what else? And what more? Alack, alas, how sad. It was I who leaped at the sun to give it my loving friends to keep. So I was the one who went to get the sun. They'd asked me for the sun, so I went for it. Nought man could do have I left undone. I've done everything for them. Everything that a man could do for his country, I have done. I've left nothing undone. And you see my harvest, what I reap this very day now a year is run. And you see my reward. We still haven't had the Volta because he's still a hero. And now today, a year after this, you see my reward this very day, a year later. And his reward. There's nobody on the housetops now. So people aren't on the roofs looking at me and cheering me. Just a palsied few, sick. A few sick people, so sick, diseased. At the windows set. Yeah, so just a few sick people looking out. For the best of the sight is all allow at Shambles Gate. Or better yet, by the very scaffold foot I trow, I think. So, people aren't looking at him to cheer him. The best thing to do is now with him is to watch him at the very foot of the scaffold. The scaffold is where somebody is executed. It's a platform where someone is executed. Or at the Shambles Gate. I guess the Shambles Gate is the parade or the march towards the scaffold. So there are just a few people looking through windows at me. No, everybody's waiting for me to walk to the place of execution, to walk to the scaffold. So now he's a traitor. He's going to be executed. I go in the rain, and more than needs a rope cups both my wrists behind. So he's walking to the scaffold in the rain, and his wrists are tied behind him in a rope with a rope. And this rope cuts his wrists, but more than necessary. It's been tied too tight, but on purpose. It's been tied too tight to hurt him. And I think by the feel my forehead bleeds. So for some reason his forehead is bleeding. For they fling, whoever has a mind, stones at me for my year's misdeeds. And his forehead is bleeding because people are throwing stones at him. Now he's a devil, he's a bad person for my year's misdeeds. Thus I entered, and thus I go. So I entered as a hero, as a patriot, and now I die as a criminal. In such triumphs people have dropped down dead. So, from triumph, from hero, from patriot to execution. You can die from such triumph. Paid by the world, what dost thou owe me? Yeah, so the world is asking for its payment. God might question now instead. So now he's dead. And God might ask him a question now instead. And God, 'tis God shall repay. I am safer so. And now it is up to God to decide what he's done in his life, what he's succeeded, what he owes, if he's a good person or a bad person. Now it's up to God. It's not up to the whims of a changeable society, the whims of public opinion. So, enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. The Patriot by Robert Browning.